Good morning, viewers, or whatever time it is where you are. I'm recording this in the morning, so that's where we're coming from. Time to do, I haven't done one of these in a while. Sorry, choking a little bit on my breakfast. A layout update. I haven't done one of these in a while, so let's talk about the layout and where it's at, where it's going, and what's been happening. So, the yard is in, and if you can look, you can see I even have ballast down. Because you didn't ballast your switches. You're right, because I ran out of ballast. If we come down here, though, this is what's going to make some of the model railroaders of Reddit angry. Look, I ballasted my switches. Look at that. I even put a little bit of grass material. Like, I sprinkled that down. I mixed that with the ballast, and I also put some down while the ballast is still being glued to kind of give it that weeds are growing up, because this is a branch line. It's an old, this line is on its final days, you know? Look at how smooth that switch still works, and they all work. Everything's fine. You can do this. You can do this. You can ballast and glue down the track up to your switches. You can do it. Don't be afraid to practice that. Anywho, my tracks are a little dirty because I've been touching up the weathering and I just haven't finished cleaning the tracks. But yeah, everything's ballasted in the yard at least. The turntable area, I haven't done anything with the engine servicing facility yet. We're still kind of fighting with my 3D printer. I need to get more electronics for 1225, but even that is such a low priority. Like, that is after all the scenery is done on the layout. That is all the scenery is done on the layout. I've moved the layout and attached it to a bigger layout in my own home. Now I'm going to get that locomotive running again. This one actually has a decoder in it. And it runs pretty good. I didn't need a new decoder for it. This one doesn't have a decoder in it. 469 runs pretty okay. And actually, this is the locomotive whenever I do any track work. Is it off the track right now? No, it's just crooked. Whenever I do any track work, 469 here is actually the one that I run through everything. If it can make it through there, anything else can make it through. 389 is running pretty good. I got to touch up the paint a little right there. And then 8401 has been running really well. Like, chef's kiss. It needs some work. It's old locomotive, it's all beat up, but I have this FPV camera on here, and it's actually tied into the decoder, and I have another one around here that I want to attach to the rear and tie it to the rear light, so it'll actually switch between the front camera when you're going forward and the back camera when you're going in reverse. Need a new decoder for this locomotive. I fried the tail light circuitry on that, so otherwise the locomotive still works. I do have these switch panels that I got a couple months ago from a fellow modeler here in Vegas. And I just have them sitting here just for shits and giggles right now. I do actually have this switch right here. You notice it doesn't have a switch machine. That's because it is connected to a tortoise switch machine. I have a toggle switch right here on the layout right now, but it's the wrong style. It's like automotive, so it's like I gotta like hold it to really throw it. I don't like that. I did get a package of double pull, double throw smaller ones. These little ones right here that I'm going to replace that with. And the goal is to start getting tortoise switch machines for every turnout, because every turnout will have a tortoise switch machine, and at least have these switches wired in for now to actually allow it to throw the switches. Let's continue going down the lap there. Notice I've painted the sub-road bed, the pink foam. I got tired of staring at pink, so it's now painted. When we come to the downtown area, I have both these tracks in. I have the tracks in and running, and I've been doing op sessions, which we'll get to that in a minute. I've been doing op sessions, but none of this track is actually glued down. It's just held in with push pins right now. And this track here with this gondola, I'm not quite sure what I want to do with that track in the future. I don't know if I want it to continue like that, or if I maybe want to extend it down over here a little bit to make it a longer industry track. Or if I want to even pull it away from the main a little bit to give a little bit more room there. So that track's kind of there. And this is one of the industries where I didn't put roadbed down. I did put roadbed down for this industry, not this one, and I like that. And I feel I should not have put roadbed down for this one. And then these two covered hoppers, again, I'm still kind of figuring out, like, I know what industries were along this line, but I'm like taking some creative liberties here and there and kind of just being like, well, what if? Continuing on, we have another switch right here, straight into our nice big, and I measure this and it took quite a while, 21 inch, and that's a 23, 24 inch outer radius curve there, right? Yes, I have rail joints in the middle of the curve. It only looks bad on camera because there's paint on there, because I paint my track after I lay it. But I have ran everything through here multiple times, and it's actually pretty smooth. And when I actually, again, this track isn't glued down, so it might have also shifted since the last time I ran something. Once the track's glued down, I will make sure that that is even smoother. Something else that's going to upset the Redditors: curve track, curve track, curve track, turn out. So many times on Reddit, I see people go, "You need to put a piece of straight track there." No, you don't. No, you don't. And that's a whole nother video. So coming along here, this industry, I'm not happy. I want this industry here, but I'm not happy with how close it has to be to there. But like, the only way I could shift it over this way more would be to move this turnout further down this way, and I didn't want to do that because then it was going to be cutting into this, and like this right here is already too short for me. I wanted this to be like another foot. Like I wanted, originally this switch wasn't going to be until right here. That was also when this section was straight that way when it was in my garage. So, you know, plans have changed. We come around, I now have a turnout. The hand throw here for this, it will eventually get a tortoise switch machine, like I've said. I'm gonna continue on. I did do the extension that I talked about, but I didn't cut this foam correct, and it doesn't quite fit, so I gotta redo this foam, and I gotta redo the road bed here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have this track actually come off and curve and come up pretty much right here straight. And the idea being, if I ever do get a house, I can move this layout into a house and connect it to a much bigger layout that I built. Now, again, this layout was not, this section was built for a completely different configuration. It was actually built for a completely different scale, different layout. So originally this track here coming around was actually going to be more center on this, and it's not now because of the curve. So I'm kind of in the process of debating, do I want to put a switch right here and make this 2 tracks up to right here, or do I just want to keep it a single track? The industry I'm modeling, it is 2 tracks at the industry, but it's also like, like, do I want to put 2 tracks there? If I leave it 1 track, I can fit 4 or 5 box cars there. If I make it 2 tracks, I can maybe fit 3 box cars there. So yeah, that's where we're at with the layout. Again, everything pretty much from this switch all the way down here is just pinned in place. I will be gluing it down, doing all the wiring. I came up here on Thanksgiving, had all my wiring stuff, and like picked up 1 piece of track, because in order to do it, I actually have to take all of this track apart and start at this end, gluing it down and wiring it and go back this way. And I don't want to do that. And I had all my wire stuff laid out, and I took off those 2 pieces of track there and started to take that switch out and went, nah. So at the earlier part of the video, I was talking about the FPV on this locomotive and that I've been doing operating sessions. If you check the link in the description below, you'll see I have a link to my Twitch channel, which I've been trying to export the Twitch videos to YouTube, but like, I keep getting copyright strike on the audio, which is dumb because I'm using audio that Twitch says is okay to use, but whatever. But you guys don't just come and watch me do switching. You guys can actually come run this train. The FPV camera here, and that camera there, and that camera there are all set up to feed the video to the stream. And then you, utilizing JMRI, which I have on my computer, so you don't need to download or install anything, you just go to a web page, can actually control the throttle of that locomotive. You move it forward and backwards. And the only thing me, the person behind the camera, have to do is I have to uncouple the cars for you and throw the switches. Eventually, when I do have the DCC system upgraded and all these switches are DCC controlled, you guys could also throw the switches. So then the only thing I have to do is uncouple the cars. And I've been doing that, and it takes a user doing the streaming, watching through the stream, about an hour to actually. What I do is I put all the cars here kind of in a jumbled order. You have to block the cars into the correct order, then deliver them to all the industries, and drop off your train back here and park the locomotive there. And it takes one user about an hour. The quickest I've seen, one of the guys who's been doing a lot, he's gotten it down to about 45 minutes that he can do it. So yeah, that's where the layout is right now. Oh, look, I have a tree. I just put that tree there. I was like, I want to know what the scenery is going to look like. So let's talk about the scenery a little bit. What I'm going to do along that back wall right there to kind of hide the edge of the layout is I'm just going to put trees and shrubs there. And then here's actually going to be a town, like downtown Traverse City, like south side, with the buildings all facing out. Because the railroad is in the background. It's behind everything, whatever. Which is actually going to look really cool when you're running the FPV through the buildings and stuff. And then more over here, like this is going to be kind of foresty in this corner and right here. And then like one big industry here and more forest here, because that's kind of the southern end of the line. But yeah, that's where we're at so far. This is everything that I've done since the last update video of the layout. It's coming along. It's coming along pretty quick. If you like this, like and subscribe to my channel. Come hang out with me in Twitch and like and subscribe and throw bits there. I'm doing this thing on Twitch where three of the four industries on the layout, the names can change. Whoever the top 3 people in bit donations on my Twitch stream are, whoever they are, they get to pick the name of one of the 3 industries. So basically you can buy an industry on my layout, and if someone, dethrones you, they get to rename it. So yeah, that's where we're at. I don't want to go too much longer because I am doing this before going to work. So I will catch you guys all later. Again, check my Twitch out in the description below. Thank you. Check you later.